it wasn't until I got these mirrors that I realized, damn, I used to record, and throughout most of the recording, it would pop into my head like, I fucking hope one of these cameras didn't shut off. Right? Dude, this is gonna fucking suck.
Yeah.
This is gonna suck.
Because you're capturing things in a moment and you can't redo it.
No, there's no way. There's no way. You can't fucking, you can't redo this entire conversation.
The beauty of this format is that it's free flowing. It's what makes you a little nervous, but it's also what is really popular. Like, I want to hear people's real conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I was listening to anybody, and you posted a guy today, Money Man something, right?
Jonathan. Jonathan. My boy
I don't
Jonathan.
know who he is, but I'm intrigued by a real conversation. You're going to have somebody that knows about finance, right?
Yeah.
And so I want to check it out.
Dude, that one is dope. For anybody watching this, episode 21 with my boy Jonathan Espinoza, just released it. Just released it today, actually. I really loved having that conversation and recording that conversation because I really do believe in a way, right? Yeah. At least with the boomers and before, life insurance and stuff like that it's taboo. Like, I don't know, you don't think about that, right? But the guy in the episode, actually before that episode, one thing that he told me that always stuck with me was, he said, we'll spend $20 on almost anything, right? At any moment. He said, but you won't spend $20 a month so that your family can grieve rather than have grief, right? Because it's like you die and they're out there. He told me like this. He's like, I don't want my family having to do a car wash,
absolutely,
or anything like that, right? Like, I want to be able to just die and have them be sad because I left, right? Like, just have them be able to.
They have so many
grieve
other
that.
things on their mind that figuring out how to pay for it is just crazy, right? Or a GoFundMe or any of this.
All of that, man.
When I worked at the branches, we used to do life insurance, and it used to come up all the time. People will pay $12 to $15 a month to insure their cell phone, but not $25 to have $25K in coverage, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Bro, $25K will pay for almost everything, if not everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, everything. And so I had already, fortunately, I'm blessed that I already have a whole life. I have another life, right? Like, I've done a few, not too much, but probably not as much as I would like to, but still I've done some, right?
Yeah.
I've done some, but it's interesting to me how the majority of people don't have a life insurance like that.
They don't.
And it's I feel like Hispanics more than anything.
It's a cultural thing. The other thing is too, in the U.S., right, the wealthy use life insurance as a vehicle to and I'm sure the gentleman's going to cover it in his podcast, right? But to build wealth. And you can start putting money into your kid's life insurance, but talking to people about buying life insurance for their kid is the hardest conversation because nobody wants to think about it, right? And I definitely don't want to profit if something happened to my kid, but the reality is you're not doing it most of the time for it to pay out the benefit. It's for your kid to be able to have some cash value. And I don't want to get into the details of it. I'm sure he's going to cover it much better than I do.
Yeah.
But there is some mental roadblocks we have culturally around life insurance.
I mean, because it's such a trip what that triggers, though, if you think about it. Even just the thought, man, because you have to at least have the thought of your kid dying in order to even consider something like that, right?
It's weird subconscious, if I pay for this insurance, I'm banking on
am I manifesting this shit, right?
Yeah, don't push it out into the universe,
am I manifesting this shit?
I get it. Nobody wants to put that out to the universe.
Yeah.
It's a tough thing, but we should do it.
Yeah.
And when you look at it logically, it makes sense. And so I'm glad. I can't wait to listen to that.
Yeah.
And not listen to a commercial or something pre-prepared. It's just some guy talking about valid advice.
Yeah, we shot the shit for a while. It was mainly around finance and culture and all that stuff. Even financial literacy in our culture and everything. We even talked a little bit. I don't know how much we dove into it, but we talked a little bit about the lack of financial education in the school system.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Started, man. Yeah. You learn a ton of things except how to balance a checkbook, right? Yeah, you know all the state capitals, but you don't know what a bank account how it should work.
You don't know what a P&L is. You think P&L?
You definitely aren't going to know P&L, right?
You think P&L is the burger joint that's been down the street forever? Right. It's no, that's P&G.
P&G, that's right. P&G. That's what it is. But yes, I don't know. I actually still don't understand why that's not the case. I know that working in financial services, we've always talked about it, but I still don't understand when the majority of us recognize that it's a gap, why there still isn't a class around it. Or at least it's lumped into economics or something.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in here from high school that I probably don't use. that I would have really benefited from just having some financial literacy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely. And it's awesome that you mentioned about what you do with financial services, stuff like that. Because, the intention for like us getting together today, that's one that like super interests me because I know you and I have a little bit different views on certain things, right?
Yeah, we're on two ends of the spectrum.
Yeah,
here.
I think we're on two ends of the. No, actually, you know what? No, I've been thinking about it. Look, since you asked me if I was down to have this conversation,
Yeah.
right? Since you asked me,
and you're the person I wanted to have it with because I knew we could have it without
duking it out and shit.
Other.
Yeah, or without even. And I think we'll get to this as we go in, right? But I feel like without there being any moment, which it's yet to be seen if there isn't one,
we'll see,
right? We'll see, right? But like to not have a moment where we feel like we have to defend something, like no, there's something you're attacking that I feel like you're wrong, I'm right. How are you so blind?
Yeah,
things like that we can just have a discussion on things, right? But for me, when you asked me to have this conversation with you, like I thought about a lot of that stuff, right? But I ultimately thought like I'm super excited for this conversation because at least what I've known of you, not just in the banking industry that you've been in, but I've even been to some events that you do with like realtors and stuff like that on the side. It's called? NAREP.
National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals.
Perfect. Yeah. So I've been to some of those events, right? And actually say that one more time.
The National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals.
And that I've seen you not just in banking, right? Doing all those events for like the Hispanic community, the Latino community, but even things you do outside of like your banking thing are still committed to the Hispanic culture, to the Hispanic market, to the Hispanic people that obviously live here in Southern California.
Because it's really important to me, man. I just feel like there's so many ways you can say, like people complain a lot about how we're not supported or we're not anything, right? But I just feel like if they ain't got us, we got us, right? And I think that a lot of the most prosperous communities, they benefited from supporting each other, right? And so I'm not cynical. I don't think that like the world's against us, right? But there's a real big opportunity for us to help each other.
Yeah, absolutely, right? And so when you called me, you said, I want to record an episode with you, right? And
I was fired up that day.
Yeah, you were fired up, right? You were fired up that day that you called me, right?
Yeah.
You were fired up, but you asked me like, I want to have a conversation with you, but I know that if we keep talking on the phone, we're just going to have it here, but I want to record it.
Yeah.
Right? That I want to record it. And you said, I want to know what you think about all this immigration and protests and stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
Right? And you almost like didn't let it get past that, right?
No,
Like,
I didn't want to get past that because I
like,
wanted to save it for here because I wanted to be real.
Yeah.
Because here's and I don't want to cut you off.
No, please. Because look, my question is, what had you even pick up the phone to want to be curious enough to have that conversation?
Bucket, yo, bucket, like a pinnacle bull, bucket, wow, bucket, a good night, love money is bull, look at that horse, look at that horse, see as hell, all that to grab.
Coming into like since COVID and the election and all of this, right? You see so many people on social media post their side, right? And what you see on social media is either I'm like a huge liberal and I'm pro everything that the Democrats, right? Now I'm a Democrat, right?
Yep.
Or you're far right and you're posting everything that a far right person would have, right? But nobody concedes that they're either more in the middle than they probably post online. Nobody concedes that, I like this candidate, but these are 4 or 5 things that I think are fucked up, right? And so I think those of us that are in the middle, we don't speak up enough. And so all you see is this left and this right. And I feel like people think that we're just never, like, you can't bridge it, right? And I think the more we think about it, I know that there's a ton of people that probably voted for Trump that think there's a problem with immigration, that didn't expect what's happening today to be happening, which is what triggered my conversation, because some of the people that I know that were posting all this Trump stuff with a ton of energy, they've been really quiet. And I know they've been quiet because I know they don't necessarily like what they see, right? But I also think that they should be vocal today. Today, them being vocal is just as important. Having someone that said, hey, you know what, I voted for this, but this isn't what I pictured, I think is really valuable. I think it's really valuable for people to hear that we're not that far away.
Yeah.
Right? I think we're starting to believe that you're either on this side or that side. There's no in between. I think a lot of us are closer in the middle. Does
I
that
think
make
so
sense?
too. That makes absolute sense, right? And that makes absolute sense because that's one of the things that I was thinking about, right? Like since you asked me that, because just like you said, you're Democrat. I voted Republican.
Yeah.
Right now.
Obviously, you fucked up, right?
Well, I mean, it depends on the way you see it. Like you said, I can definitely sit here and tell you these are the things that I'm like, fuck, man, this sucks, right?
Yeah.
And then these are the things that I'm like, okay, like that's what he campaigned on or whatever, right? But since you asked me that question, I really thought to myself, I was like, so, like, I know I voted Republican, right? But like, ultimately, like as a whole, like, am I like really like to one side? And the way that I kind of thought of you and I is that, and I'm bringing this up because of you saying like we're more in the middle than we think.
Yeah.
The way that like the analogy kind of that I got was like I'm standing in on a line, right? I'm standing in the middle, right? One side you got left, one side you got left, one side you got right. And I'm standing there and it's like if anything, I'm just like leaning right.
That's it.
Right? Like I still got like a fucking calf and a thigh, half my hip, right?
Yeah.
Like kind of on the left side, right? But like I'm just like leaning.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm not like all the way there. I'm not there enough to like argue with somebody over something or even try to like be right about it.
Absolutely.
Right. Like that's just not, I just don't see myself like how that gets the term far right. Right.
Yeah.
Or even far left. Like it's almost just like a lean and it just teeter totters. I just happen to be leaning a little bit more to one side. But that's it. So.
And there's this belief out there that like if you're I have friends and I sit on boards with different people and there's a lot of shit talking about the MAGA people, right? Like the MAGA people. And the reality is, and here's where I failed. I won't speak up in that meeting, but I really, sometimes I'm listening there going, you know what? I've met some MAGA people that are actually really good people. They're really kind people. And they're some of my closest friends, right? And they don't support all of this, right? But I've also met some really shitty left people that are kind of out of their mind. They're batshit crazy, right? And they're on my team.
Oh yeah, yeah,
right?
They're on my side, right? They're supposed to be fucking getting me on their back, like absolutely.
So, I think so too. I think I'm in. Maybe if I was given the same analogy, I'm probably fully in on the left, but I also see perspective on the right. Like, but you'll never see me post about politics.
Yeah,
you'll never see me post. I don't see you post very often about it, right?
I mean, I could probably count in one hand, and it would most likely be less, how many times I've posted anything politically related, right? But like within one hand for sure, nothing more than that. Yeah, because it's just not.
And I think that's it. And so I thought the value of this conversation, because sometimes you can't even talk to people, right? You can't even, I can talk to people that are Democrats that are pro, like let everybody come here, right? And they won't concede that some people that do come here are criminals.
Yeah.
Some people that do come in here are doing things that they shouldn't be doing, right? And so as someone who is an immigrant, who came to this country illegally, right? Who got very lucky that we qualified for an amnesty, I recognize that there's some people that shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Right? And if I'm here as a resident and I got caught selling drugs or I got caught, guess what, man? I should probably go home.
Yeah, you should probably go home.
Right? I should probably go home because I'm fucking it up, right? And so it's always surprising to me how in our party, I think the Democratic Party, we won't concede that. We won't say, hey, you know what? This is true. We do have some criminals, right?
Yeah. And I think it's vice versa on the other side, right? Like I think there's a lot of people that are like, no, this is the cleanse. Right? There's like on the right side, like, nah, like this is just like what has to happen and it has to happen, this way that won't concede to that, like me, for example. Like you asked me, the question you initially asked me, like, what do you think about all this immigrant stuff, right? So now I actually get the opportunity to answer you, right? Because you didn't give me the fucking opportunity to answer it then.
I wanted it real time.
So my thoughts on the immigration thing is I'm good with the criminals, right? Like I'm good with criminals getting taken out of here. I mean, I also think I'm okay with there being a crackdown on immigration, right? But where I feel we are lacking as a government is our systems, right? Like, and this is just one person I've never worked for the government. I've never done software engineer. I've never been an IT for anything, right? Yeah. So I'm not the most technical, nor am I like in politics, right? But I don't know. It's just common sense wise, I would think there's like, you know what? I'm sorry, we can't round all of you guys up. I mean, we can't process all of you guys on site.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we're going to have to make you uncomfortable for the next 2-3 days. Get in the fucking van, you're gone, right? And then when you get to the building, over the course of 2-3 days, right? You go, you're like ants in a line, and you give your thumbprint, right? You give all your information, right? They run your background. Have you been paying taxes? Oh, you worked at Victoria's Secret for 10 years, right? Like, oh, you own a home, and you've paid us 10 years of property, right? Like a line, okay, and you've never committed a felony. Like, I just feel like it should be fucking that simple, right? Yeah. Like, all right, cool. You know what? Here's your paperwork. Here's a stamp. You got to get this process going. Yeah. You can't. I'm letting you know right now. You're off the hook right now because you got a clean record. You're a citizen that contributes to our economy. Yeah. Right. You have kids here. You have a life here, and more than anything, you're not a felon. Exactly. Right. And so check it out. Don't fuck this up. Yeah. Right? You have a year to like do these steps. And I don't want to hear this shit that we didn't answer. Yeah. Right? If we didn't answer, you call us. Yeah. If you got to call us 100 times a fucking day to get through, that's what you do. Yeah. Right? Because if you want to stay in this country, that's it. Like, I don't know. I just feel like there could be a simple system where you check. Do they check the boxes or not? And then just fucking, you go that way, you go that way.
Well, you've touched on a lot, right? Like, the first one is this misconception that immigrants don't pay taxes, right? They pay taxes.
Of course.
Right?
Fuck yeah.
And I think that's the thing. Like, there's this misconception that when somebody's working somewhere, they're not paying taxes. They're fucking paying taxes.
They're paying taxes.
And if anything, they're not reaping the benefit from paying those
taxes.
And
that's, okay, that's another box, right? Like, I feel it would be so fucking easy. You have a list, right? One of those boxes is, are you receiving government aid? Right? Like, if you're not really paying taxes, right, and you're receiving government aid, like, okay, maybe, you know, you've taken your fair share of government aid for the last 10, 15 years. Go and restart the process, come back, get this shit done again, right?
Well, look, I think that's valid too, right? If you're here, you got like 17 kids, right, and you're collecting, that's fucked up, right? That's like, it's not a welfare state, right? But I think those are things that need to be considered, and that's what feels wrong because, you know, you mentioned you have a year to do this. The process takes more than a year. The process takes forever. Some people have to leave the country for more than a year to be welcomed back. Because if you're not familiar, when you get your residency, you have to leave and then come back legally, right? It's like this formal process. And so when I got my green card, I had to go to Guatemala. We bought a one-way ticket. And then you wait for them to tell you you're all set and you come back. And so we went thinking we were going to be out there 3 weeks. Luckily, it was only 6 weeks or 5 weeks that we were out there, and then we came back as green card recipients. But there's some people that are out there for like a year, right? And so we need to figure out what this process is going to be. And to your point, I think there needs to be some type of compromise, right, on both ends. Yes, you might not be able to verify somebody on site. Valid. Is it an inconvenient thing? Absolutely. Does it suck? Yes. But you know what I would be cool with? And it's going to sound fucked up, but I just want you to think about in like everything that's going on. What if we said, okay, we're going to round up. We found you. You were working and you're illegal. We're going to pick you up. We're going to drive you down to San Isidro. And we're going to process you back to Mexico, right? We're going to check you out. We're going to make sure you're good. But you get to come back tomorrow. Through the thing with an ITIN number, a this ID, a work permit, right? We verified that you weren't fucking up this whole time, so now you get to come back, right? I'd even be cool with that. It's a super inconvenience. It freaking sucks, but fine. Now you've tagged them. Now you can keep a record of them, but now you stop messing with them, right? And now they have a pathway to citizenship. Yeah. But all this talk about like you can do it right, there is no right way. Yeah. There is no right way, and I'm curious to know, and I didn't look this up before because it just hit me, but like how many visas are granted to people of Mexico, and how does it relate to the number of people we need in our labor force here? Right? Because it's not like everybody in Mexico can just apply for a visa, a work visa, and come work here. I don't think we're giving out nearly as many because, you know, Trump just announced that we're not going to raid farms. We're not going to raid hotels. We're not going to raid these. Yeah, because now you realize this workforce is really important, right?
Of course.
Well, is the number of visas we're handing out on a yearly basis connected to that? Does it translate? Because that's something to think about, because that would be the legal way to come here, even if it was a lottery. Right, where every year they announce 100,000 people from Mexico get to come work in our farms, right? But there isn't anything like that.
There isn't anything like that.
The only way you can do it is you come here illegally, you work under the radar, you wait for an amnesty, you file for, what's that called when you, asylum, right? Or you get married. And that sucks. There should be a better system. So to your
Yeah.
point, we need a better system.
I definitely think we need a better, like a better way of doing that. And the one thing that I've thought about before, right? Because, yeah, like I'm into like the politic thing or whatever. And like I said, I lean one way, but I also think of like reality of everything, right? And I think it's the lesser of two evils. Like, I really do. If you lean to one side, it's because you believe that's the lesser of two evils. If you lean to the other side, that's it, right?
That's a whole different problem.
So it's the lesser of two evils, right? So I think I'm aware enough to see that, like, this is a fucking chess game between two sides, right?
Yep.
And so does it affect our economy here? Absolutely, right? Yeah, he just announced the whole stop it, not on farms, not on this, not on that.
Yeah.
But even then, right, like, name a time when California and the Republican Party got along ever, right? And I feel like now more so than ever that the Newsom-Trump feud, right?
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. California has the fourth, I believe, right? You guys can fact check this shit. Has the fourth largest economy in the world. If California was its own country, we'd be the fourth largest economy in the world. So if I have an enemy and that enemy is California, right? And you pride yourself on your economy, right? Because you're the fourth largest. How can I cut federal funding and do something that will fucking massacre that economy?
It's killing our workforce,
right? And so just because I lean Republican doesn't mean I believe like, oh no, they would never do that. They're just good. They're so good people, right? They wouldn't. Like, it's Newsom. It's Newsom that doesn't want to give in. Like it's all Newsom, and it's all blamed on the Democratic Party. Like, no, like this is a feud between two fucking parties, right? Like California wants to swing the biggest, you know what?
Yeah.
Now you're at now the Republicans are at the federal, and
well, he just announced, right, that he's going to hit Democratic cities, right? New York, L.A., right?
And there's sanctuary. So see, this is another thing too, right? And not to say that like that that this justifies anything of the way they're collecting, you know, the way they're getting the immigrants, the way they're rounding them up, the way they're going to graduations, the way that they're doing the things. Just saying this doesn't mean I justify it, right? But I remember about 4 months ago, right, way before this LA riots and the immigration really got like
LA protests,
like serious, the LA protest riots, whatever, right? Well, you know what? This past weekend was LA protest, right? But last weekend there was definitely you gotta
I can see
that was riot, and that shit was wild.
But
bro.
I
Like,
still stand by the fact that, you know, the Lakers win the championships, there's fucking riots, right? Something happens, there's riots, right? And I don't know that it's the protesters as much as it is people that take advantage of the situation to say, I'm gonna go fuck shit up because this is an excuse to do it. And again, it could very well be protesters, right? But I just think there's people within our communities that just wait for those moments, whether it's a celebratory parade of somebody win a championship, they know that they can go loot, and that's what they're going to do.
absolutely. And so I guess the proper language is there was a protest that had riots.
And there was looting.
There was a protest
with riots, not riots with protests.
The protest that happened to have a riot, right? Okay, I guess we'll put it there, right?
Yeah.
That was wild.
Yeah.
Right? Like that was wild. So anyway, before all of this happened, right? There was a video I watched of the border Cesar that named Tom Homan or something like that, right? And so what he was saying, right, and I'm pretty sure I'll put the link in the comments if I find it, right? But what he was saying is, for all of you guys that are crying, because that's how he talks. This fool's a dick face when he talks. He's like, for all of you guys that are crying, you know, about the way we're conducting, you know, the ICE, whatever, and our operations. He's like, you guys shouldn't be crying to us. He said, you guys should be crying to your sanctuary city. He's like, and I'm going to tell you why. He said, because of the way that the court systems work, you guys will detain somebody for a crime. A sanctuary city will detain somebody for a crime, right? And because of the way the system works, they get released, you know, within a week, 2 week, 3 week period of time. They don't stay in very long. If your sanctuary city were to just call us and say, hey, I have this guy, right, who committed this crime, he's gonna be released on this day. If you want him, he's here till that day. If you guys don't make it, I'm telling you, he's back on the street, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, and if that's the case, guess what? We send 1, maybe 2 agents to go get the 2 or 3 or 4, whatever, however many amount they have. We switch handcuffs and we leave. He said, but if we're going to send an entire team out there to look for these 2 or 3 criminals that could have easily been given to us, right, when they were detained. He said, well, I mean, if we're going to be using taxpayer dollars to fund this operation for those 3 or 4 people, we might as well just gather up as many as we can. Right? And so I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
I get that.
Yeah.
I don't know that I buy it.
Well,
and I
what is it that you don't buy?
So I guess just thinking out loud here,
Of course,
right?
of
In
course.
theory, if that was really the true intent, why couldn't they just send the teams to just wait outside the jails, right? There's only so many, right? Just send 1 or 2 people outside every jail, and everybody's walking out, getting released. Just check them real quick. And so I do think there's some truth to that. I do think that, again, where our parties don't concede, right?
Of course.
And these 2 teams that just want to oppose each other, right? I do think Mayor Bass and whoever the LA County supervisor, whoever is responsible for this, should get out and be like, yeah, you know what? If you are an illegal alien and you get a DUI or you get domestic violence, guess what, dude? We're going to turn you in. But it would mean they wouldn't get reelected potentially, right? And I think that's what the problem is.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we don't concede. I don't know that I buy his, like, this is why we have to do it. I think there's more intent behind it, but I do think there's some truth to it. And again, that's where I think if a Democratic elected official would concede that, you would actually get more votes. Because the vast majority of us, including us immigrants or former immigrants or whatever you want to label us, we get it.
Yeah.
We get it.
We align with that
think
shit. We feel
Sherman
like if you're a
years
criminal,
ago,
you should be gone.
You and I were talking about my dad, right? And how much he meant to me. But I remember, like, some of the advice. Like, we were here illegally. I knew I was here illegally since I was in elementary school, right? I knew I didn't get my green card till, like, I was in junior high, right? And so my dad, he, like, drove everywhere, following the speed limit, would not run a red light, right?
Yeah.
Super conservative, would always talk to me about not stealing, right? He was walking on eggshells because in his mind, all it took is one mistake to get me sent back, right? And I think there is some truth that all of us here who come as immigrants, we're guests to this country, we should act that way.
Yeah.
And so now, jaywalking should get you deported?
No, absolutely not.
Right? But
Absolutely
some serious
not.
stuff, right? Felonies, you should go, man. And it sucks. You're walking out with a gun you shouldn't have. You pulled out a gun. You shot at somebody. Yeah, you can't be here no more, man.
Yeah.
Right? But that's that concession that I don't think we're doing.
Yeah, and I mean,
And I think everybody
it just
would
sucks
agree.
because
I
it
don't
just
know-
seems like it's a no-brainer. I don't know how many. I mean, I guess there is a lot of people that would be like, no, like, right? Because
If you
Well,
got to give
actually-
me 100 people, I don't think there's more than 10 that wouldn't understand that someone who's a felon should go back home.
yes,
Yeah.
right, absolutely.
But they don't
then,
speak up.
But then there's like and then I get this part too, right? Then there's like the due process, right? Like even a criminal should have due process, right? Like there's that part that I feel like the Democratic side is not willing to concede. They may, right? You get like you said, you get 100 people, right? You get 100 people, and you say, okay, like how many of you guys agree that if you're a criminal, you should go back home, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, no more than 10 would say like oh, I disagree with that, right? Like I think 90 plus people would say, yeah, I think if you're here, illegally and you've committed crimes, you got to go back
gotta
home,
go,
right?
man. Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of those 90 some people would use the word but afterwards. They would say, absolutely. I feel like if you're a criminal, they should go home, but there should be due process.
Yeah. What
right?
is due process?
And due process is like there's got to be they got to give you a court hearing. That could take, because the court systems are so antiquated, that might take you 6 weeks, a year.
You talked
Fuck, it
about
might,
systems earlier. Maybe that's what we do. We set up a expedited court system, right? Mm-hmm. But now, are we trying people in an expedited way? Because then that could be messed up, right?
Yeah.
Or is it when you get convicted?
And see, and this is the gray area, right? Like
Yeah.
this is the gray area of things. Like we may concede on some things, but then there's like that thing in the middle that like, well, but hold on here. I also don't think this is
Yeah.
right? Yes, I agree with you. That's not right. But this other thing isn't right too if you do it in
Yeah.
this way, right? I guess like the
Absolutely.
politically correct way to do it.
But again, I think it all just comes down to compromise, right? Like, we
I mean,
gotta have something. They're rounding us up and shipping us off, and you're seeing really good people. Like, just this weekend, right? Was my daughter's 21st birthday. I get a call from my gardener at 10 o'clock in the morning, and he's like, "Hey, I'm not going to go today," right? I was thinking, fuck, what am I going to do? I got this grass looking like shit, right? I really need this place to look good, right? But in all seriousness, he's like, "Hey, I'm not going to go today. I'm really scared." I said, "What happened?"
Yeah.
And he said,
"Yeah, bro,
my friend just got picked up. He got picked up on Arrow and Arrow and Vincent, right?" And he's like, I just went back home. I found out from somebody else, and I just went back home. And I don't blame him, right?
Absolutely.
And so those aren't the people that need to get picked up. So when Matt Holman or whatever says, like, "Hey, we're out here picking up because of this," I don't think that's the case, because these guys aren't doing anything. These guys are actually producing and adding value to the communities that they're in. That's where.
And that's the part, man. That's the part that's tough, right? Like, how can you do things in a way where it's? I feel like the way that our government does things, it's either you're fucking all in or you're not.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're either all, like, there's no like there's no like all right, let's try to like ease. No, like no. We're just gonna do it.
And I think
all
it's
in.
not gonna pay off. Like, I really think, like, in this next election, right? I think there's a lot of good Republican people that believed in being a more efficient government, believe that I think we all concede there needs to be something about immigration. We can't just have an open border, right?
Yeah.
We all agree on that. That we're like, damn, we thought this was good, and it ended up being terrible, right? And that's kind of what happened in California, because earlier you mentioned, like, California always being Democratic. It wasn't. Like, back when Pete Wilson was here in early 90s.
Schwarzenegger was a Republican, right?
Arnold Schwarzenegger was a Republican, but Pete Wilson was one, and he had that one act, Prop 180 something. I forgot what it was called, right? But it was also deporting illegals. And that created such a backlash. And I think it was really the catalyst for converting California into a Democratic state. Because we had, Reagan was Republican, Pete Wilson was Republican, right? We've leaned that way.
Yeah.
And so this immigration thing was the catalyst to turn it as Democratic, right? So I think that's what's going to happen, unfortunately, because I think Trump got elected on a couple of things that were exaggerations of, I think, the truth, right? One of which was, there's a ton of criminals killing everybody here in the U.S. and we need to get rid of them, right?
Yeah.
Which was kind of exaggeration. And now you can see that it's not really what people voted for, right? The second thing was this anti-trans thing, which whatever way you want to fall on trans, but basically trans people got, like, Republicans elected is what it comes down to, right? This fear of a trans person's going to win at this high school, like, swim meet really pissed people off, right? Again, I think there was mistakes on the Dem side as well with that, and I think there's it's a very sensitive topic, and just because, for me, I don't care and I support somebody being able to live their best life and live their truth, right? Doesn't mean other people have to.
Yeah.
Right? And I think this whole thing of making somebody feel bad because they're not comfortable with a trans person using the same restroom as a kid, I think we fucked up there, because people need time to process it, right? And when you try to force somebody, their immediate reaction is to pull back, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what really got Trump elected, right? He ran on a couple of things, and then the Dems, instead of meeting them halfway, they doubled down.
Yeah, they did.
And that pissed everybody off, right? Add that to what happened during COVID, where the Dems kind of got it wrong. And I remember we had a ton of conversations during COVID, right? I masked up everywhere.
I
was masked up
everywhere. You had a mask on your elbow.
I was here at the barbershop talking shit to people for not masking and having a slight cough next to me, right?
Fucking shit, get
the fucking coffee next to me, god damn it. Because there's a lot of hysteria, right? And you were one of the first people to tell me, like, some of the actual information that was out there, and it turns out Dems kind of had it wrong, which hurt them. So you put those three things together, and that kind of created this equation where Trump gets back in office. But that's my 2 cents on how this thing trickled down. And it sucks because there are some good things that are happening in the Trump presidency that I don't think is getting the light. Like the stuff Kennedy's doing around food, I think is tremendous. This thing he said around how do Fruit Loops have, like, 7 ingredients in Canada, yet they have, like, 18 ingredients here.
Yep.
Fuck, why?
Why? For what?
Why are Fruit Loops so special? Why do they get so many extra ingredients?
Why do we get the unique ones?
Yeah,
right?
I don't want those. I want the basic ones.
I want the Canada ones. Somebody bring those.
Like, there's so much stuff happening as far as our health. Like, our kids are sick. There's a lot of cancers. There's a lot of stuff. Like
the autism rate too, bro. The way that autism has gone up in the past, like, 3 decades is
That's
fucking
wild.
insane.
What is it? Right? I don't know what it is, but we got to look into it. And
whatever
I
it is, we got to look into it.
I want to believe that it's in the food, right? And so those are the things we should really be talking about. And unfortunately, we're not. And it's kind of taken a back seat. And that actually affects all of us, Republican, independent, whatever you may be. Instead, we're talking about this shit, whether or not people should get deported, right? And whether or not a trans person should swim.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem.
And this, I really do believe this is a problem. Like, there was a time for me where I wasn't into politics at all.
Yeah.
At all, right? And I didn't give a shit either. People would always tell me oh, like, it's because you don't care, like, and I'm just like, no, like, and even till today, like, it really doesn't affect my life, right? Like it doesn't affect. I think I've only gotten into politics to even have the perception that I lean any fucking which way because of how massive this has gotten between people. Right. And you can't hide from it. It's everywhere that there's a division, like there's a huge division. Right. But even till today, if one president is in office and they change policies, I just work more or work a little less or have more tax benefits or have less tax benefits. Like at the end of the day, like it doesn't affect my day to day.
Whether Trump's in office or Biden's in office, I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna put a tie on, and I'm gonna do my stuff, right? And like I like what you said right now. Does it mean I gotta work more? Does it mean I gotta pay more taxes? Fuck it. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it. I'm roll with it. I'm in the same boat, but today more than ever, I feel like those of us that are in that boat need to speak more. Because it's the ones that are like so radical are the ones dominating the social media, dominating all these things.
Dude, speaking of social media, bro, I just had name drop here. I just had a friend, bro, like a really close friend of mine that I'm not even going to say male or female, right? But this person started getting DMs from people this person knew for like a couple of years, people that this person would consider themselves close to. Yeah. Started receiving DMs from multiple people, right? That were like talking shit to this person because they seen that this person was liking. You know how now if you like a post or you like something, on the bottom on the bottom of the thing it says people also like people who also like whatever. You know what I mean? Like it shows the people you know that liked that piece of content. Bro, this person was getting like shit talking DMs. Like, I can't believe you.
What did they like?
Huh?
What did they like?
Posts that were leaning right. Mm-hmm. Posts that were leaning right, and it was just like, and this person showed me screenshots of the DMs. This person was bawling, like fucking literally crying because like people that were close to this person, like that this person would have considered close, were sending shit like that. And it's just wild, bro. Like, just because you liked something that you don't agree with, like that was enough for you to take the time out of your day, fucking type out this hate message to say how disappointed you are. Like,
you know, it feels
bro,
like
this is fucking wild.
That's just misdirected anger, right? Because that person, your friend ain't your enemy, right? Your friend ain't your enemy, and that's messed up, man.
For me, like, it's almost like even in saying this out loud to you, right? Because the only person I've said this part out loud to is Jasmine, right? Like that's the only other person. But like, even saying it again to somebody else, like what I'm really getting for myself is the same. And this just landed for me now. The same thing that kind of started bringing me into being more interested in knowing enough to even have an opinion is the same fucking thing that right now is drawing me out. Right? Like that there was so much division, that it was so big. That's what had me intrigued. That now that this is so big and everybody's got such a big opinion, that they'll go out of their way to write something like that to somebody else just because they liked something that disagreed with their views. It, like, now has me be like, dude, I don't like, other than in this podcast, like, bro, you want to talk about politics, you can take that somewhere else. Fellas, let's be real. Your hair deserves better than a last-minute YouTube tutorial and your mom's kitchen scissors. That's where the original Clip Joint Barbershop comes in. Located in Covina, San Dimas, and now your pocket. Yep, we just launched our very own app for both Apple and Android, and booking an appointment is now easier than swiping left on your ex. No calls, no waiting, just fresh cuts, crisp fades, and a barbershop experience that actually feels like home. Visit us at the original Clip Joint Barbershop today, because a bad haircut hurts more than a bad relationship.
I think that's the risk, man. Because then I don't want to say they win, but like that's how people win, right? Because they quiet the people who have like the more rational argument. And I think these opportunities present an opportunity for us to ask more questions, right? To be curious about like why is the other person leaning that way, right? Like I've always asked you, even when we don't disagree, I want to get your perspective because I could understand the perspective. Like if somebody said to me, you know, I don't like immigrants, and I don't like the fact that immigrants are here. And I asked why, and they said, I don't know. They said, well, I don't like that I'm a contractor, and when I bid for work, I pay my people a living wage, right? I want my people to be making about $30 an hour, right? And oftentimes I get underbid by some guys that are here legally that are doing it for half the price, which is making me pay a lower wage to my guys to be able to survive, right? Or I'm now not making as much. I can understand that perspective. I might disagree, right? And maybe I don't feel that way, but I can understand that.
Absolutely.
Lens. And so I think that's the challenge. It's we're attacking each other without really understanding the perspective. Like one that's like huge, right? Is like anti-abortion, right? Look,
that one's tough, man.
If someone tells me I don't support abortion in any capacity, right? Like, although to me it sounds like fuck, you're crazy, right?
Yeah.
There's so many scenarios, right? I gotta respect that. If that's something you're about and you really believe that, what am I gonna do? Hate you for it? Can't.
Back to what I said though, we either go all in or we don't, right? Like, like it's like how the fuck are you gonna be like, regardless of whether you're pro-abortion or anti-abortion, like how are you gonna be okay with the mother, right? Like the mother dying because you can't give an abortion, right? It's like I don't know, like I just don't know if I agree with that.
Even look, you know, there's so many arguments about people having kids and kids being raised by the system or being people raised on welfare, right? You can't argue that we have so many people on this on government assistance, right? And then force people that are in difficult economic situations who don't want a kid to have one because of your beliefs, right? And I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying, and now they do a shitty job raising their kid because they didn't want one to begin with. The kid ends up raising themselves or ends up in a foster home, and now you're adding to what the government is spending. You're adding to potential challenges with this kid going forward, right? Because they weren't raised in the right environment. Now they're a fucking mess when they get older, right? There's so many things that come from it, and you kind of indirectly impacted the adult's life, right? Because now their life is that much harder, right? And their likelihood of getting success is that much harder. Like you can't support both. Like you have to have compromise and an understanding that the situations are perfect and people just got to make that call. I would much rather see somebody flourish than to have that other scenario where the kid isn't okay, the parents aren't okay. It's a whole freaking, you know, you hear these horrible stories of people that shouldn't be parents, right? Like I don't know that that's a better scenario. I don't know a scenario where somebody was forced to have a kid that ended up good.
And this is where, like, you know, like when I hear you say what you're saying, like this is where, like, I see, in my opinion, the moral and the logical, where like that's kind of a challenge, right? And like I would believe that statistically, right? Like you're absolutely right, right? Like statistically speaking, right? And this is where not the moral, but the logical, right? The logical side. Statistically speaking, yes. Like the people that were not ready to have a kid, the people that didn't want to have that kid, statistically, those kids end up in the system, or those kids end up with so much trauma that later on, whatever the case is, statistically. But then comes the moral part of like, but what about the ones who do? Like, what about the ones who are born in that environment, right? Like, so,
who makes that
and
decision,
I think that
though,
exactly,
right? That's the thing. if
Do you believe the government should be the one to make that decision?
no,
I don't either.
I don't either. I think
I don't either.
It's like with everything with my kid. Should the government make a decision? Like, look, I'll make it simply. Like, people that don't want to give their kids like shots, immunization shots. I think it's fucking stupid. Give your kid the freaking immunization shots. We did all this research.
Yeah.
We
These have 50 years of research.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah,
at least give them those.
your kid
right?
doesn't need fucking polio.
No,
right?
Like,
we're
give
fine.
them fucking polio.
Yeah.
Please. No, but see, like, those are tried and true. Like, I feel like at
here's
this
the thing, though. But if a parent came to me and said, "Hey, I don't want to do it for my kid," guess what, man? That's your kid.
That's your fucking kid. Yeah.
You fucking figure it out.
Yeah.
You do it.
Yeah.
I think that's and I think that's how every situation should be. Do I have a right to tell a woman whether or not she could have an abortion? Absolutely not, right? But if I had, I don't even want to put this, we talk about putting things into the universe, but if my kid came to me and said, "Dad, I'm pregnant," right? I don't think she's ready to have a kid. I recognize how much of an impact that would have on me.
Yeah.
Because I know I'd have to help, right? And I know I'm going to. I'm not going to like leave my kid alone, right? But if she said, "Hey, I don't want to have it," it would suck.
Yeah.
You know, it would suck. I can't tell you that I wouldn't be like, "Damn, that sucks," but you gotta let her do it, right? And if she also said, "I want to have the kid," it would still suck.
Yeah.
Because
It
it's
would
like,
still
"Damn,
suck.
dude,
Like,
it's
you're
gonna
not
be real
ready.
hard." Yeah.
Damn, you're not fucking ready.
Yeah, but ultimately, the person who has to make that decision is her because it's going to
Yes.
shape the whole future, and the morality of it is going to be a decision that she makes.
Yeah.
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 And I think there's too much risk with the government being involved in that.
Yeah,
The government
me
being
too.
involved in what my kids should believe, what my kids should hear, and then what my kids should do. It has to be the parent, man.
Yeah.
Even if I don't agree.
Yeah. And like you said, right? Like, I think that really is one of the things that killed the Dems, which is that, like, the whole narrative that was being pushed. Because, I mean, I hear this a lot from, like, Republicans. Yeah, like, you know, my cousin told me that in the school they were giving them books with fucking 2 dicks and, like, you know what I mean? Like shit like that. And I'm just like, dude, like, I've never, like, up till now, I've never had anybody come up to me and say, like, my kid in his school, and here's, like, the proof, right?
Yeah.
But again, right, like there was I support, like, whatever you, like, if you're gay, if you're straight, if you're bi, if you're, like, hey, again, like, whatever you are, like, dude, like, I'll fucking go have a beer with you, like, I'll have a slumber party with you, bro, like,
It's all good.
like let's go,
I'm
right?
with you.
But I think I was having this conversation today with a client, and this client actually happened to be gay, right? And this client kind of had the same view of, like, there's one thing to support and there's one thing to promote.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like we should definitely support the I don't even like saying, like, the gay community. Like, we should support the community that chooses outside of the consensus. Right? Like, the person that chooses outside of the consensus, we support them.
Everybody being their true self and being happy.
Yes, absolutely.
But you being your true self and being happy shouldn't infringe on me.
Exactly.
Right?
Which is, again, support over promote.
Yeah. But I want everybody to be able to do what makes them feel right.
Yeah.
Right. And so I have friends that are gay. I have friends that are trans, and I want them to marry. I want them to have kids if they want.
Yep.
I want them, whatever the fuck they want to do. I want them to have the same rights that I do. Right. I think we can agree on that. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Right. I believe in my kids being innocent as long as they can. And I try to shelter them from a bunch of shit they don't need to know. And I think we all do that to some degree, right? But I'm not talking to my 4th grader about what chicks he likes in his school.
No.
Right? I'm not talking about, like, who he's going to try to hook up with in his school, right? And I've seen some people do that. I think it's kind of stupid, but that's their kid. They can do whatever they want, right? But I also don't want somebody coming and talking to my kid about gay or heterosexualness, right? And I think that's a conversation that needs to be had at home.
Yeah.
And I think that if in my opinion,
Yeah.
if you want to teach your kid some bigotry, that's a shame, right? That's fucked up, and I feel bad for your kid, and I feel bad for you.
For
have
you,
that kind
ultimately.
of hate in
Yeah,
it, right?
of course.
But that's not my decision to tell you what to have with your kid, and I think that's where we shouldn't have that. Like my kid's teacher shouldn't be having those conversations with my kid. I should. My kid's teacher shouldn't be talking about religion with my kid. I should. There's a lot of those things that just shouldn't happen, and I think that's where I think the Dems overstepped a little bit in trying to get that in there, because it's not the government's job to teach morality. It's our job as parents.
That is,
It's
as parents.
the community's
Yep.
job, right?
As parents.
Because morality is based on you. What you think is moral depends on you, man.
It's all subjective.
It's all subjective. That's actually the way to say it.
Moral is all subjective. Morality is all subjective. Now,
Yeah.
can there be a consensus on morality? Yeah. right? There could definitely be a consensus, but it's still subjective. It's just a subjective opinion that has a major consensus.
30 years ago, people weren't okay with gay people adopting, right? Or gay people even being married. That was a big issue here, right? In the state, really getting that approved, right? That didn't get fixed because we put a bunch of gay people into elementary schools teaching our kids. That got fixed because over time we realized that there ain't nothing wrong with being gay. There ain't nothing wrong with gay people. And then we started teaching our kids what we've learned, right? And I can tell you, like, those conversations took place at the dinner table, not at the school. And I think that still needs to be respected.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely, I mean, again, it's definitely one of those conversations that needs to be had at home. There's just certain things that the government, again, steps into that I really just don't feel needs to be stepped in, right?
Absolutely.
Now, on another, I don't want to say another topic, on the same topic, right? I was thinking also, since, you know, I knew we were gonna have this episode, was like, and yes, this is the conspiracy theories coming out.
Oh,
right?
shit!
Like,
Here we go.
Like, what the fuck are we distracted from this time? Like, it's all right. Like, I know the Leonard Floyd, like that, like in President Trump's last one, like race was one of the big deal.
Yeah.
Right. And in this one now, it seems like immigration is becoming what's the big deal, right? But like,
what's it?
Ultimately, it's like, what is like
market manipulation,
everything, right? But like everything, like I want to see those fucking Epstein files. Like, I don't know if you guys got them. If anybody's got those things,
Elon said it though, right? Elon's already seen them.
Yeah, you know this motherfucker has seen them, right? Like, you know this motherfucker has seen them, right? But it's like, release those fucking things already.
Yep.
Right? Like, release, like, what the fuck is the holdup, right? But again, I
don't know. I just heard Kash Patel on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he said that they're going to be released soon. That they're going through tons of video, right?
We've been hearing that shit, but it's
I think if we're still here a year from now, you know something's up. Right?
Absolutely.
And I wouldn't be surprised if some very high-ranking elected officials were in those files.
I mean, of course not, including fucking Trump.
Yeah.
Like, including this dude. Like, there's so much footage of these dudes hanging out. Like, you can't tell me I didn't know he was fucking.
I want to see what Christian America feels about that, right? What does Christian America feel that backed them? I think if that doesn't change your perspective on him, if he comes out in those files, then you're fucked, right?
I mean, and
because
honestly,
we judged. I'm not saying we, because Christian America judged Bill Clinton for a ton of shit, right? So I'm curious to see how they react to this.
Honestly, I believe all of these motherfuckers are on that list, bro. Like, I don't know if that list ever gets released, I'm gonna have unless I see every fucking name, I think I'm gonna have a hard time believing that list is real, that list is not edited, that list wasn't, like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
I have a feeling the full version of that list is never gonna come out.
Yeah, and so do I.
Yeah.
So do I. I don't think it's ever gonna. Same with the JFK stuff.
But I don't even think it's the presidents as much as that I think it's people that are in real positions of power, right? They say where the money's at, that are involved in this, and yeah, it's fucked up. Fucked up.
Yeah, it is fucked up. The other day I was
fucked
watching.
Up that we allowed it to happen. Like, you've seen the documentaries,
and that
this
we
dude got
still allow it
convicted,
to
and we
happen.
let him freaking be free, right?
Bro, and that we still allow it to happen. Like dude, we're raised, like, there's so many people uniting to raise such hell over, like, immigration. Like, why isn't that same level of uproar happening for this list that could potentially release? I mean, that can potentially expose high-ranking pedophiles. Like, what the fuck?
But here's you. I wonder, and I probably won't phrase this well, but I'm trying to think of the best way to phrase it. But maybe it's some subconscious fear of, like, all right, what if all these motherfuckers are on there? What are you gonna do? Right. So if the list comes out and it's like Bill Clinton, Barack Obama,
Bill
Biden,
Gates,
freaking
fucking
Bill
Biden,
Gates.
Obama,
Those are all our
like,
peeps. Like, they ain't going nowhere. And now you just know that a pedophile's president. They're not going to go anywhere, right? Which is the worst feeling.
But see,
it's better not to know.
But I would still love to see, like, because, dude, like, right now that you're saying that, right, it's kind of like the COVID thing, right? Like, I honestly, my opinion, right, if COVID tried happening again today, shutting the country down would not fucking. I don't believe it would happen, right? Like, but again, if it did happen
It
again,
wouldn't happen, yeah.
and the country did shut down again, wow, bro, like what that would prove as to like how chained we really, really are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like I would love for that to be released to also prove like how chained are we that we wouldn't take any of our peeps down, right? After knowing something like that. Like even if there's an unknown, like the way that I see it, even if you have no clue what the fuck is going to happen the moment you take all these people out of power,
Yeah.
I still think that's the unknown is fucking better than having all these people in power that are just fucking shits. I don't know. There'd be chaos for sure, but still,
I can't imagine a scenario where it would happen.
Yeah, I mean, neither can I, right? I'm just
Can't
wishful,
imagine the scenario.
I'm just
would happen.
wishful
You're
thinking.
Gonna get
I'm just wishful thinking.
You're gonna get a list that's gonna call out R. Kelly and Diddy as the two main people, and we're gonna call it a day.
That's it,
we're gonna call it a day.
Hey,
y'all know.
They were the only ones on Epstein's flight log.
You might see Kanye on there.
Yeah. They were the only ones on Epstein's flight log. That's it.
You're not getting anybody.
Yeah, Tupac was there. Fucking Biggie made it.
Turns out we found Tupac. He's been hanging out at that island for the last 30 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fucking Scarface was there. Fucking fictional character.
Yeah, I think that's what you're gonna get. Or maybe people from out of the country, right? Like they got that one prince, right? Maybe I don't know. It's just speculation at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening that could be distracting, right? Like we're talking about immigration, but you got freaking Israel bombing everybody, right?
Ooh, bro, that one I don't know much about, man. That one.
It makes me think. It makes me think like, is it? My first impression was Israel is like that annoying little brother that talks shit to everybody at the park, and then you have to go settle their beef. Right? Like your little brother's out there, he's running his mouth, and now somebody slapped him, and here we come to be like, hey, who the fuck's that, my little brother, right? Knowing damn well he instigated this shit, but you're like, hey, who fucked with him?
Who fucked with him?
Because you got beef with me now.
Somebody
What's up, right?
come up. Somebody come
up. And now
up.
you're fucking up people who are minding their own business because Israel was running his mouth, right?
Yeah.
Okay. A part of me thinks that. But another part of me thinks like, what if Israel's just like our puppet, right? And we're saying, hey, we don't want Iran to have this, but if we drop these bombs, this is our beef. But if you drop these bombs,
that's thousands of years of war. It's not going to look like much.
Yeah, it's not going to look like you're going to look like you're crazy, but you're going to help us solve a problem, right? I'm starting to lean towards that. Although I don't have any government background to
neither do I.
Evidence, right? But that's kind of what
this
it
is
feels
just
like.
two fucking guys shooting the shit about shit we really don't know.
Yeah,
too
like
much
if this shit's being tracked by anybody, like I don't have any inside information.
Yeah,
right?
I don't come knocking at my door, guys. I ain't got nothing for you guys.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's wild, man. I've been watching the videos of like missiles launching and people partying it up on a rooftop while missiles are flying by. It's crazy. Fuck. Think about like for that to be normal for you to be watching. Like literally, there was a video. These people are at a club on a rooftop, and you just see the missiles going in the background, and they're just clubbing. That's wild.
That is wild, man. Like I said, I don't know enough about like what's going on, who's on the right side, who's on the left side, who's right. But like the one thing that always comes up for me, man, every time that I see that is like at what point as a consensus, like at what point as humanity are we going to look at that situation as human beings? Right? It's not about bombs, it's not about who like those are all human beings that are being massacred.
Yeah.
Right? Like we're literally playing. We're seeing who swings the bigger dick, you know what I mean? Using people. Like these are lives, regardless of whether they're on the Iran side or the Israel side, bro. Like I've seen videos, right? And I'm sure I haven't seen not even a fraction of what's out there of just people fucking dying and buildings falling on top of them and get like, dude, it's like I see videos like that and I think about my life and where we live and like how we live here, and it's like, dude, I couldn't imagine living in the city of San Dimas,
and
right?
not knowing if a bomb's gonna land here tomorrow, or going to work today knowing that a bomb landed at that Costco, right? And you're like, hey, fuck another day, another day here.
You know, I hope half the Costco is still up because I need toilet paper.
I need toilet.
Right?
I was planning on having pizza today. Today's my cheat day.
Yeah, fucking Costco, please. I really hope they didn't bomb the left side.
Yes, please.
Like, don't fucking bomb the left side, guys. You gotta leave that one standing.
But here's the thing. It's like, I think it's another example of not conceding, right? Like the Gaza thing, right? And I'm not as informed of this Gaza thing, right? I just, there's one side that feels that Gaza belongs to one country. There's another side, and common sense will tell you split that motherfucker in half and call it a day.
Yeah.
Right? But nobody wants to concede that.
No.
Not one side doesn't want half of it. The other side doesn't want half of it. Instead, they'd rather have it belong to nobody, right? And just keep fighting about it for years, right? I think it's one of the biggest flaws in human nature, not being able to concede and compromise effectively.
Do you think we're our generations are starting to lean in another way, right? Like I don't think in our generation or in our lifetime we'll see a world where like everybody in the world kind of gets that, like that everybody becomes aware. Like I think everybody's aware of the word ego.
Yeah.
Right? Like I think it's fair to say that the majority of the world is aware that there is this word called ego and that's it. But I strongly believe that there's been a huge part of the population that knows the word but doesn't truly understand, like truly understand like what an ego is, and then even more so how to actually distinguish it, how to be aware that there's this voice in your head that is the one that's like constantly driving your actions, that it's your dominant thoughts that are then, you know, creating your perception of the world, right? And then that cliche saying, right? Like it's not about what happens, it's about how you react to it, right? And that reaction, I believe, is the ego, right? And the ego isn't good or bad, right? But it's like, will the ego have you react, or will the ego have you like be aware of what's going on and then consciously put the ego aside and then consciously choose, no, I'm going to fucking sock this person. Or consciously choose, yeah, I don't think punching this person in the face and going to jail tonight is really worth it, right? But being able to be aware of that reaction and aware that there is this thing, ego, that exists, right? Like, because I believe
you're asking if we're ever going to get to a space where
I believe. Do you believe that where a majority of the world's population will be aware enough and conscious enough, and to even get practice at the situation that I just told you? Because I honestly feel if all of us were extremely practiced on having something happen, and then we stop and we like view what's going on and then consciously choose which way we react, right? Like I really don't believe we'd be having these silly feuds. I don't believe we'd be killing, or that there would be people killing other people to win, to have. I just don't see it if a majority of the population was aware of how to react and how to respond.
in theory, I guess it could happen, right? But that would mean that there's only one factor going into the challenges that we face, right? It's only ego, right? Mm-hmm. But that doesn't account for greed. That doesn't account for a bunch of other things that could influence it, because
I really believe all of that is part of the ego. Absolutely.
I think so. Because when I think of ego, I think
ego is okay. So tell me what you think ego is. I'll tell you what I think ego is.
I guess the way I interpret ego is, I guess the best way to describe it would be like my ego doesn't let me admit my mistakes, right? My ego, my wanting to feel superior, my wanting to feel great, my wanting to feel grandiose, right, doesn't allow me to accept when I'm wrong, acknowledge when I've made mistakes, submit instead of being dominant, right? Or feel that I need to represent for other people that I'm leading is the ego, the wanting to feel important, wanting to feel in command. Those are things that I connect to ego. And I think greed is different.
Do you believe that greed can possibly be something that feeds the ego?
It could.
Right? Because if you're greedy, it means you want more.
You want more.
And like you said, the ego wants to be grandiose. The ego wants to be superior.
But you could be greedy and not want the limelight, not want the spotlight, not want to be in command.
Well,
right?
and so Okay, so let me
Like,
see.
if you were to say Trump has an ego, right?
Well,
Trump,
we all do. We all do.
well,
All of
but,
us
but
do.
let's say somebody said Trump has an ego, and he wants to be in charge, right? He could very well make a ton of money, probably make the same, if not more, behind the scenes, and influence the politicians and put somebody to be their puppet, right? And so, but I think the ego of wanting to be the face of the movement or wanting to be the face of it is what gets him to be in front of everybody.
I also think the people who want to be behind the scenes do it for the ego as well. I think it's both.
Okay.
So, and tell me what you hear when I say this, right? And I'm not certain if I've ever said this out loud. But for me, what the ego is, and again, because remember, I didn't say it was good or bad,
Yeah.
right? A lot of the things you said, like the consensus would be like, oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Like, okay, I don't think it's good or bad. I believe that the ego is the me that I create myself to be.
Okay.
Right? Like if I didn't create myself to be an immigrant, I probably wouldn't get offended when somebody says something about immigration.
Yeah.
Right? But because I create myself to be an immigrant, like I have something to say about that, right? The me that I am, right? Like I'm courageous, I'm tough,
Yeah.
I'm a barber, I'm a dad,
Yeah.
I'm like there's this
Yeah.
and it's this story that I create as to what makes me me, right? And it's that ego, it's that person I create, that persona that I create that either gets triggered or not triggered by whatever somebody says, right?
Yeah.
Like if you call me white boy because I don't create myself to be white, I create myself to be Hispanic.
Yeah.
That story that I create of myself will have me respond differently to you white cracker,
Yeah.
right? Because that's just not who I create myself to be,
Yeah.
right? But you say wetback, right? And because I create myself to be a Mexican,
Yeah.
that leaves me vulnerable to the word wetback,
reacting
right?
emotionally. Yeah.
Having an emotional trigger, like having getting a reaction from it, right? But in reality, I'm not Mexican. I'm not black. I'm not white. I'm not brown. I'm just human,
Yeah.
right? Like we happen to live in a society where a consensus of people said that if you were born within these imaginary lines,
that we
you are
drew.
Mexican,
Yeah.
right? If you were born in these imaginary lines, you are this. But that doesn't make it real. That just makes it an agreement between the majority of the world that that's what it is.
Got it.
You know what I mean? Now, it's up to us to how we build our ego as to who we are, right? And part of my ego is I'm Mexican, right? Part of my ego is I'm a hard worker,
Yeah.
right? Part of my ego is I'm a proud father, right? Like that I'm brown skin, right? Like that's all my ego, right? And it's that I create that then has me want to hide, want to be in the limelight,
Yeah.
want to be in front of people, want to be behind the doors,
Yeah.
want to have more, be okay with less, want to be a tough guy, want to be humble, right? Like it's that story I created myself that then has me choose which kind of person I want to be. But nonetheless, the choice of being loud or quiet comes from who I create myself to be. The choice of being out in the limelight or behind the scenes, that choice comes from the ego I create myself to be. I don't know. That's kind of the way I see it.
The way and the complexity in which you describe ego, I would imagine it would be really hard for the world to be so self-aware that they could catch it in a moment, right? I also am hesitant to accept that ego is who we create ourselves to be, because I also feel like ego, the way you describe it, is influenced by the outside, right? Who I am is very heavily influenced by other people,
Absolutely.
right? And I could subconsciously make this person who I am without really knowing that I'm making that decision, right? Because I can choose. I think there's some truth to that. I can choose to be Hispanic. I can choose to identify as a bunch of different things, right? But it's also what's been programmed into me, innately. So to answer your original question, I don't know that we'll ever get into a place where people can check their ego.
I don't think.
No, we're so,
I'm talking about a majority.
We're so doomed. Like this place is fucked. We're
heading in a fucking wrong direction, bro. I'm so glad that
I'm so glad. I only got about 50
honestly,
years
bro,
left.
I'm so glad I'm living in the times that I am, and maybe there's been other generations that think the same way as us, right? Like, no, that's it. Like we're doomed. We're doomed as a population, right? But like, dude, like I think about it. I grew up when there was. I was born when there was no internet, no cell phone. Right, I was old enough to have a pager. I was old enough to have one of the first cell phones. I was old enough to have a Nextel. You remember the walkie-talkie? They got to bring that shit back. Hey, Nextel, you guys got the chirp. You guys got to bring the chirp.
I would do
back.
anything for that chirp mode.
I would do
I'd
anything
rather
for
have
that
that
chirp
than the
mode.
FaceTime. Give me the
Fuck
chirp
yeah.
mode. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Like those times where you forgot to put that shit on silent. Your homeboy fucking does it
Yo,
while you're in
yo,
class
what's
and shit.
up? Yeah.
Yo, what's up, Dick? And you're fucking in the middle of English. Fuck your teacher.
I remember that.
Jose, give me the phone. Jose,
Yeah.
right? But like I lived through that. Then I lived through the internet, then social media, AI as well. You and I could see it for a whole nother episode when it comes to AI. But AI is fucking. Well, by the way, if you guys,
AI
if you guys
is
are
the best therapist I've ever hired. Man.
Yeah, if you guys are not using ChatGPT, if you guys are not like catching up on AI tools and things like that, guys, please do yourself a service.
You should have somebody that is
Yes,
really good at
I'm already gonna do it. Yep.
There.
Well, hey, you got me back in the studio, brother. You got me back in the studio, man. I haven't been in here. I made a post today, but I haven't been in the studio. I don't think I've been in the studio at all this year. Yeah. If I did, it was to record the episode I'm releasing later this week.
Yeah.
That could have been in January. But, dude, max one time. By the way, these are the first times I use these boom arms.
Brought to you by Shure.
Right? No. The mic is Shure. The boom arms are, I don't even know. But and then like I said, the mirrors on the thing. This is only the second time.
It's a top-notch studio.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You got to work with what you got.
No. I'm very impressed.
What you got. But yeah, bro. I'm back. I'm excited to get back in here. I've got some editing tools that I've kind of honed in on.
Yeah.
Over the course of the last few months, that I think I finally kind of got down. And so the post production of all of this, which I think was really what would hold me back a lot. That's like, fuck. If I record an episode, there's just so much work that goes into post production. But now I feel like I got some AI tools that'll really help me out, that are going to make this more efficient and seamless. But yes, I want to get somebody on here that knows AI, bro, because I think a lot of people need more education on that.
Well, one is that, but I also think you've created this space to just have conversations, right? And I don't know if like two people are like, it's probably just gonna be my kids that watch this, right? Maybe your kids, right? But whoever watches this, but you've created a really cool space, man. For look at how many conversations you and me have at the barbershop, or me just have in general when I call you sometimes. That it's kind of neat to have this conversation of where we're at mentally in this space today. And who knows where we're going to be in 10 years, right? And what we're going to think in 10 years, right? Mm-hmm. What if we swap? What if I become super Republican, right?
Yeah, and then I'm fucking super Democrat. Like,
yeah, it's kind of cool to know where our minds are at. And then
and that we're open, that we're open to it, right? Like you said, right? Like, and I think you made a great point. You know, when I created with my language that California is like just always super Democrat, like nah, like you brought it to light, like no, like that shit has switched, like it at some point it was Republican and it was super, and then it turns Democrat, and I think that people to be open to that. You can change. Like you can change.
You can change.
You can change your mind every now and then.
Look at our communities, right? Because the Hispanic community, for the most part, has been super conservative, right? How did the Hispanic community become like the poster child for Democrats? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Right? A lot of our elected officials are like Hispanic and they're Democrats, right? When our communities, our culture and everything is super conservative, right? And so that just tells you how much flexibility we have in how we align. And my hope is that conversations like the ones you and I have had, even though we didn't probably get into as deep as we probably could have gotten, into really talking about where we disagree or where we see things differently, that more people have these conversations, that most people post about them, because there's just so many good people out there that have slightly different beliefs, that might be Democrat, that might be Republican. And I just think we need to voice how similar we are instead of spending so much energy talking about how different we are.
How different we are. Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, man, and I get this episode was about politics, bro, and you know, we had the conversation we had, but at the end of the day, man, we're fucking human.
Yeah.
Like we're all human. We're all neighbors, right? Like at the end of the day, like I truly believe it is about love. Are there some fucked up people out there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like, are there some shitty people out there, some egotistical people? Yeah, but like, man, the reality of it is they're just louder, bro. They're just louder. They're just louder, right? But let's not be fooled. Let's not be fooled that the majority of us are loved. The majority of us go to work every day and do our thing, and we say hi to our neighbors and our people. We don't take the time out of our day to go send a hate message to someone. Like, the majority of us are those people, but we just don't put that out there.
Yep.
And I'm going to give credit to the ones that do. And maybe it's my algorithm, guys. If you guys are on social media and you guys want to hear some positive shit, just go spend 10 minutes on your Instagram, on your TikTok, whatever. Look up the 10 most empowering things, the 10 things that will empower you the most. And for 10 fucking minutes, comment on those posts,
and
like them, and you'll start getting more of that. Because I look at my feed on my social medias, bro, and 3 minutes on my feed, I'm fucking pumped. Like, I'm ready to go. I got like a fucking romance tip. I got a business tip.
Because when I spend it on mine, I get fucking hungry because it's just a bunch of
food.
That's all fucking is.
Tacos.
I got fucking
tacos,
fucking
chili cheese fries.
I need to relook at my algorithm because it's not doing a lot for me.
It's not doing a lot for it's not doing a lot for the fucking yeta. No, definitely not, man. But you know what I mean? Like we have the power, right? Even when it comes to social media, we all like to cry and say that social media is evil because it feeds us. It doesn't feed you anything you don't already look at. The way that the best analogy I've seen for social media is it's a mirror.
That's it.
It's a mirror.
That's it.
Right? It doesn't make you vulnerable. It doesn't make you depressed. It just exposes it. It exposes what's innately been there, right? Whatever traumas you have. And if your social media is showing you negative shit, it's because you're the one that's viewing shit. And so social media just wants to keep you on the phone, bro. It doesn't. If you're like looking at possums and cats and shit like that, like, it's just going to give you more of that, right? Because all it wants is to keep you on the phone.
Yep.
Right? And if it's showing you what it's showing you and you don't like it, it's because it knows that for whatever fucking reason, what you don't like is keeping you on the phone.
Yep. Absolutely. Well said. And it's interesting because a lot of people don't watch the news because of like the negativity in the news, but we've basically turned our phones.
Yeah, you've turned your phone into that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that's a good call out, man. Go in, adjust your algorithm. I'm gonna go in and like some better, healthier habits.
Yeah.
Change mine a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah. And to that point, man, if you look for it, you'll find it.
Yeah.
If you look for it, you'll find it, right? Like, that's what I want to give credit to. There's a lot of content creators out there right now, bro, that I feel fucking great to see that there's so many people out there actually making empowering content.
Yeah.
There's a ton of people. Big names too, right? Like, go follow Tony Robbins, go follow Gary Vee, go follow like, I'm sure you can name a bunch, right? Like, there's people that like, and another way you can use ChatGPT, guys, if you guys don't know like what kind of content will easily influence you to empower you, ask ChatGPT. Go to ChatGPT and say, look, I want to cater my algorithm to help me become a better romantic, to become a better husband, to have to get business knowledge on this industry, to get whatever, like all the good things. I want to have my algorithm start feeding me this kinds of content. How can I do so?
Yeah.
Right? For one. And two, ask me questions that would help you better understand the empowering kind of content I would want. Bro, and it's a trip. ChatGPT will respond by asking you questions that will help you get deeper into like, what do you really want to see?
Yeah.
And then you just transfer that over to your social media and you fucking start messing with your algorithm. And next thing you know, your social media becomes a tool. Your social media becomes a professor, becomes a teacher, becomes a mentor, becomes a coach, right? That's the way it works.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I think to second that, don't just adjust your social media algorithm, also adjust your actual social algorithm.
Yeah.
Right? And I invite anybody who's listening to do what we just did. Not that we did anything impactful or anything amazing or anything important, right?
Yeah.
But to have dialogue. Because what you shared earlier about that girl being a guy or girl, whoever it was, being upset because they got some hate messages, right? Invite people to have dialogue. Go into that dialogue curious.
Yes.
That you're trying to learn the other person's view and understand that you might not agree, but you might be able to actually understand why they see the world the way they do based on their life experience, based on what they've been through. My commitment to myself and it started with my call to you because I was really fired up that
Yeah,
day,
you were.
right? I was fucking pissed, right? But I want to reach out to people and just understand and communicate and start voicing, because I've shied away from it, for professional reasons of not voicing my opinions online, of keeping all that thing really tight-lipped. But I think we're in a space today where the silent majority, most of us that are in the middle, need to be more vocal and need to be more like transparent. And I already know that the day I post something that I think Trump did well, I'm probably going to get some messages, right? But I'm just going to be pretty open about how I feel and pretty open about how in the middle I am, and invite others to do the same, because I think that's how we'll get closer.
Absolutely, right? Like,
Yeah.
so, and I think that's great that you said that. Like, if you guys are one of those people that you feel like, hey, like, I'm not radical, right? Like, I really do invite you to take Carlos up on his invitation, which is create dialogue with people, right? Like, if you have somebody in your life, right, that views things different, whether it's politically or anything else, that views things differently than you, like, with nothing to defend, with nothing to make wrong, with nothing to be right about, just get curious.
Yep.
Just get curious, right? Like, you could even say, hey, can I ask you some questions? And like, you could just answer the question and just know, like, I don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
I don't even have to respond unless you have a question for me after you're done talking.
Yeah.
Just know, like, I just want to hear you out and see why you come from where you come from.
Because I think when we approach it with curiosity instead of anger, we just get to such a better space. Because part of the issue I have with the protests, right? I support protests. Anybody should protest whatever they want to protest. There's a reason we have freedom of speech in this country.
Absolutely.
We should be very grateful for it, right? But when we're out there and we're protesting and we're waving our Mexican flags and we're saying F ICE, F the U.S., F our cops, F our I think about what we're trying to accomplish, and I say we because I'm Latino, right? It's, are we trying to inspire others to change their perspective? Because that's not helping. Are we trying to voice our anger? They know.
Yeah.
So I think we would be better served if at these protests we held a Mexican flag and an American flag. To show, hey, we are one, right? Because that's what we want them to believe. That's what we want everyone who's against us to understand, is that we're all here trying to do the same thing, trying to feed our families. But when you post your Mexican flag, you're going to get comments like, if you love that country so much, why don't you go back,
home?
right? Yeah. And I get that perspective, right? When we're out there looting, do you think that reinforces why we should be in this country? Hell no, it doesn't, right? When we're out there blocking street traffic, it doesn't do any of that. And so we'd be better served by creating dialogue and helping people get to see us and get to know us and get to understand that, like, I'm an immigrant, but I contribute to this society, right? And start changing perceptions through our actions, not just our words. I think that will go a long way, one at a time, one person at a time, having dialogue and helping people see our world through our lens and why we're here.
Both worlds.
Yeah, both worlds, absolutely. Yeah, man.
Cool. Hey,
Awesome.
Well, fuck. I think this was fucking awson, baby.
It was just fun to do, man.
Oh, yeah,
I have a good time doing this.
We got to do it again, man. I was talking to Cruz the other day, and he was like, hey, Joe, like, I think, when you have two people on a podcast, like, I think that's cool, but like, for some reason, like, when you have three people on a podcast, right?
Is that
it? That was Cruz telling me that, and then I was like, well, dude, like, I was like, I haven't gotten offered, a co-host yet. I was like, but I'd love to have a co-host.
Hell
like,
yeah,
I'd love to, like, have somebody that'd be like, hey, like, would you be down to try 5 episodes together? Let's just let's sign it, right?
Yeah.
The next 5 episodes, we're co-hosting. We're gonna get somebody. It's gonna be 3 of us, right? Like, I'd be super open to that. And I did tell Cruz, I was like, dude, Carlos, I think would be the perfect candidate. So, I mean, I'm asking, fuck it.
Are we on the spot right now?
Here, we're on the spot right now, man. Like, dude,
like,
if you're down, man. I really do love perspective, and I think why the Cruz thing came up was because, like you said, I just think we need more dialogue. And what better way to create more dialogue than with more dialogue, right?
Yeah.
Like, if there's 3 of us instead of 2 of us, I really do believe the conversation will go much deeper. The conversation will go much further. And I truly believe, again, I've never done this for the audience. Sorry, guys. Like, I love the shit out of you guys, right? But, like, I don't do this for the audience, right? I do this for the value that we get from having this in the first place and what comes out of this room.
Well, us being on the show together, how much I've avoided this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's why I was so shocked. I was so fired up to come back, right?
Yeah.
But I think the value from just having conversations and we get to document them. And I told you I was thinking about doing one with my son to document our conversations. I think that's a gift within itself.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So I feel better having just talked about it a little bit.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm down, dude. We should do a couple episodes
Let's
to figure
do it.
out what our
Or you
thing
let
would
me
be.
know.
But yeah, I think it'd be great.
All right. Cool.
Awesome, brother.
All right.
Thank you,
Carlos,
man. I appreciate you, man.
brother.
Appreciate
Thank you. All righty, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I'd like to give a shout out to our one and only sponsor, which is the original Clip Joint Barbershop. We have a location in the city of Covina and a location in the city of San Dimas. I'd like to say we do it old school, but even back in the day, I don't know how many people used to answer the phone. But if you do call either shop, you will speak directly to the owners, right? If you call Covina, you will speak directly to me. I can go ahead and set you up over the phone, give you technical support, or take your feedback. So you'll speak to a real person. And if you call a San Dimas location, you will speak to Jasmine. She does answer the phone for San Dimas, so you'll be speaking directly with the owner, getting your appointment set up directly with the owner. If you have not downloaded our Clip Joint app, we actually have a branded app now.
I have it.
So if you go to the App Store or your the Play Store, just type in the original Clip Joint, and now we have our own app where you can seamlessly book your appointment through the app. You could even choose a pay in person option so that you don't have to pay online, and you could just pay cash or pay at your convenience, however you choose inside the shop, or just visit our website at ogclipjoint.com. We usually open pretty early, around 7 a.m. at both locations on most days. We usually stay open pretty late to about 9 or 10 p.m. again at both locations. But you guys can always call for hours and stuff like that. But again, thank you so much, Carlos.
I appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you having you here, brother. Again, we're going to talk about that co-hosting thing.
We'll get that ironed out.
I think it'll be awesome.
It will.
Other than that, guys, stay blessed, smile every chance you get, and I love y'all. Peace.
Bucket, yo, bucket, like a pinnacle bull. Bucket, wow, bucket, a good night. Look, money is bull. Look at that horse, look at that horse, look at that horse. See as hell off that to grab.